Well, hello and welcome to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection since 1991. Today is Wednesday, September 20th, and I am Pete Connor, your show's host. Today we're going to have some very informative guests, if you will. We're going to have, first up, Jen Swanson, who is the new principal at St. Mary's School, and she'll tell us about what's happening over at St. Mary's. And then we'll have Brett Carlson and Eric Thronson to tell us about the upcoming Ducks Unlimited banquet, the 45th banquet, and they'll tell us and show us some things that they're going to be working with then. As a reminder, we appreciate your input as to what you like to see here on Owatonna Today. If you have any person that you think needs some publicity, some recognition, if you have an event that would need some recognition or publicity, why don't you let us know about that? Shooting an email to owatonnatoday@charter.net and or a call to Leanne at 390-5751. And now we're going to take a quick break for some messages from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back with Jen, so please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, I'm Betsy Linger from the Owatonna Foundation. Your generosity has made Owatonna a better place to live by benefiting our community, the arts, recreation, and education. Please consider a donation today. The Owatonna Foundation is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection, and a hearty welcome to Jen Swanson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Nice to have you here.
Glad to be
Taking some time
here.
at the beginning of the day. Tough time to be away.
It's a good time to be away.
Yeah, good line, good line. Well, Jen, brand new at St. Mary's, principal. A brief bio. Tell us where you've been and
Sure.
how you came here.
Sure. I grew up in Lake Crystal, and so familiar with the area of Mankato. My first teaching job was in Lake City, and I taught middle school and high school Spanish there for 15 years. Moved to Hawaii with my family, where I taught in a private school, and I taught middle school English language arts, social studies, and math over the 7 years that I was there.
Sure.
Came back to Minnesota. My husband became ill, and so we came home for treatment for him. And so I left my job, and then he passed away sadly, but I did some subbing, and then last year I taught 6th grade in Lake City and was looking for an administrative job and something close to home. Not quite as close as I was hoping, but this came available, and I was excited to take a look at it, and I'm glad to be here, excited about it.
Great, and I'm sure that that everyone thus far is pleased with your, at least I hope that.
Me too.
With your presence, the kids notwithstanding. A little bit about St. Mary's, when there had to be something that was, desirable or made the cut for you.
Right. I think number one, a Catholic school. I think is it's important to me. I've been in both public and private, never in a Catholic school, and so that always appealed to me. Obviously, I'm a Catholic myself, and so I thought this would be a good opportunity. It's a good size school. We have just 300 students this year, K-8, with another 90 in pre-K, so we're just under 400. When I met with the priests and the interview committee, they were just all so warm and welcoming, and it felt like it'd be a good fit for me and for what I believe in and where the school's going. So it seemed like a good fit, both personally and professionally for me.
We talk about parochial education, otherwise religious education, I suppose. What are the stark difference, I guess, would be the inclusion of a religious component. But beyond that, how would education be compared to a public school?
We're really very similar to a public school. We offer many of the same offerings. We try to align, because our students after 8th grade will go into the public school in 9th grade, and so we really try to align with where they are educationally and philosophically. But we do offer small class sizes. I think we have our largest class is, I think, 23 students in a class, but some are as low as 14 or 13. And so that student to teacher ratio, I think the average is about 17-1. So we offer a small class size. Of course, we have the religious component and the teaching of moral and ethics and trying to help kids navigate today's world as Christians, as well as morally and ethically.
Sure, okay. And your personal philosophy of education generally, where does that line up? I mean, when you look at your kids, those almost 400 that are under your control, Right.
Right.
What's the philosophy that you bring? What are they going to see from you, or feel?
Right. Well, I think my first belief is that all children can learn. They learn in different ways and in different rates. And so sometimes we see a large variance in a grade level, but I think it's still important to have high standards and high goals for the students, and so they can always continue to work. And I believe that as long as we continue to work, we will continue to learn. And it might be at a different rate, but we want to continually learn and look for ways that we can grow our knowledge.
Sure, sure. In terms of achievement, I know in the public schools there's the whole battery of testing that goes on. How does that work into at St. Mary's?
Well, funny you should ask. We're just working on our testing schedule this week, and so we do very similar testing in the private school. We do NWEA testing to see where students grow throughout the year, and it helps us look for gaps in maybe our curriculum or our areas where kids are maybe missing the key concepts, and that's true in the public schools as well. And then the state standards, we take the MCAs as well, and so we really are very similar in that way. We have a little bit more leniency in what we have to do in versus what we choose to do.
Okay. Now, beyond the core curriculum that you offer for the 6th grades in the pre-K, or is it 8th grade? Did I miss that?
Up through 8th grade.
8th grade, sorry. What other things are the kids involved in? Can they be involved in?
So like extracurriculars?
Correct.
We have a play. I believe we have both in the fall and the spring, and so we just had auditions this past week for the play, and I should know the name, but I'm not quite sure what it is, but we had auditions. We have athletics. Right now we have girls volleyball, and then boys and girls floor hockey, which is an intramural sport.
Sure.
And then in the winter, we have boys and girls basketball, cheerleading, and then in the spring, baseball, and hopefully enough girls for a softball team this year. We also have student council. We do a lot of community service, our students do, and so they have what they call power hours. And so we really try to get them to be well-rounded and both in what we offer and what we expect them to do.
What interaction, if any, do the kids from St. Mary's have with a public school, i.e. the junior high, well, whatever it's called anymore, the middle school, I guess? Is there any opportunity for St. Mary's kids to participate in things that happen in public buildings?
So, for example, we have some students that play on the football team and the cross-country team, and so they go and compete if they would like with those students as well. I know, especially at the junior varsity and varsity level, if they're good enough to make the team. We also, I believe in the past, have gone for some when speakers come in, they sometimes will invite us to come in and listen to the speaker with the middle school as well.
Yeah.
So there's opportunities.
That way, sure. We push this idea, I guess, of service. It maybe comes under the ethical thing that from the religious perspective. What are some of the competencies that you want the kids to have, and this comes under your philosophy, I suppose, where they become involved in the community in a general way, a broader way?
I think it's important for kids to realize the idea of giving back. I mean, we're very fortunate. We live in the United States. We have a lot of benefits of living here, and I think we sometimes forget how lucky we are. And so always help those in need and help those less fortunate. We are, right now in our marathon, it's our fundraising, and kids take donations from families for our Catholic schools, but we ask them to do something in return. So maybe they're going to rake leaves or mow the lawn or some work around the house, but we ask them to give back to the community as well.
Right. Now, I know the building was found to be deficient in a big way a couple of years ago, and that has apparently been all taken care of. So you're in a safe, sound facility
so
right now.
We're back.
Expanded. Yeah.
Yes, and luckily we're back, and things appear to be going well. It looks like the changes have fix the problem, so to speak,
Sure.
and so everything looks good. The building looks really good this year, so we're
Okay.
excited.
Now, in terms of growth potential, again, you mentioned almost 400 children under your tutelage. How many more could you stand to have?
Interesting, we've been talking about, we want to grow our enrollment, and we want to have at least 2 sections per grade level. I think we can handle So maybe 45 students per grade level would probably be a good number for where we're at right now. There's always talk about, can we expand, can we grow? We were at one time a high school. This year is also our 140th year of St. Mary's School, and so we're kind of looking at the history, but there's always talk about, should we go back and try to be all the way through 12th grade? But for right now, I would say in our current building with our current staffing, probably about 45, 50 kids per grade would be our maximum.
I think it's important to know too, even though that you're a Catholic school, parochial school, that does not mean that people who are non-Catholic cannot attend.
Exactly.
What sorts of, what numbers of people that would be considered non-Catholic are attending?
I think the majority of our student body is Catholic, but we do have a growing number that are not, and we welcome any student to apply and come to our school, just knowing that we are a Catholic school, and so we do teach religion, we do things based on the ethics and morals of the Catholic faith.
Okay.
But anyone is welcome.
All right. What other things are important to you that when you said you're looking for that you felt that St. Mary's was going to offer you personally?
I think just the feeling, it's interesting when you walk into a space or when you meet people for the first time, there's just this feeling that this is the right place for you. And you can't really explain what it is, but I think it's a family setting. People work well together, they're supportive of each other, they enjoy going to school there, the teachers have been there. I mean, we did hire, I think, 8 new teachers this year. It was kind of a big year hire-wise. We had some retirements, but the majority of the teachers have been there for a number of years, and that's a strong testament to the school, especially when, private schools don't get paid the teachers quite as much as the public school, and so that's really a commitment, I think, to the beliefs and where we're going as a school. School
security is always important everywhere we go. Do you have any liaison people, i.e. police officers that come into the school to be with you as they do in public schools?
So not in our school, but I believe we have access to the public schools liaison officer if needed.
Okay.
We are a secure building. We have secure entrances.
Sure.
During the day, you can only come in the front entrance, being buzzed in. But that's always in the back of our minds about, are we safe? Are we keeping our kids safe and our building safe?
Good. Well, the parents, they come back and they have expectations. Do you have interface with parents in terms of a PTA or something like that?
Yep, there is a group, Home and School. They are kind of the PTA of our school, and they're involved in different aspects of what we do. We also have an enrollment management team that looks at ways that we engage not only families and students, but the community at large, letting them know kind of what we do and what makes us special. And so there's lots of communication, and I think that's another good thing of a small school is that it's easier to communicate because you have less people to communicate with.
Sure. Well, a great overview and a great welcome to you, to have you here, to let people see who you are, listen to who you are, and thanks for coming to share all of that.
You're welcome.
Best wishes for a good school year, and welcome to Owatonna.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And thank you for being with us today. We're going to take a few minutes for some sponsor messages, and then we'll be right back with the guys from Ducks Unlimited. Stay with us.
Welcome to Bremer Bank. I am Jason Iberg.
And I'm Shannon Pedersen.
Bremer is a full financial services bank.
We invite you to stop by Bremer Bank and experience the Bremer difference.
You are always welcome at Bremer.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
Since 1988, the Owatonna Area Business Development Center has been the part of the success of many area businesses. The center leases office space and manufacturing space and offers on-site business consulting. The Owatonna Area Business Development Center is in business to help your business be a success.
Hi, I'm Rick Smith, Golf Course Superintendent of the Brooktree Golf Course. Brooktree is an 18-hole championship golf course featuring well-manicured greens, tees, and fairways. We are open to the public. I challenge you to find a better maintained golf course for the money we charge here at Brooktree. Come on out and play Brook Tree, a great golf course.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, and welcome to Brett Carlson and Eric Thronson from
morning.
Ducks Unlimited,
Good morning, Pete.
local chapter. Thank you guys for being here. Highlighting today the upcoming 45th annual Ducks Unlimited banquet here in Owatonna, Steele County, I suppose.
Yep, Steele County Ducks Unlimited.
So we're going to hear about what's happening with that, why you're doing it, and maybe just a touch on the whole idea of DU across the country, what it means. You know, what is it that the organization espouses and what it wants to achieve, what it wants to accomplish. So, this is your deal. So you guys can decide who's going to talk about what. But so Brett, maybe you can start by saying, let's talk about the event. Where? When?
Okay.
Okay.
Our event this year is at Ritchie Brothers. Once again, this is our final year out at Ritchie Brothers in Medford.
Right.
And that's 600 West Frontage Road in Medford, Minnesota. It starts at 5 o'clock on October 5th.
Okay.
And we're hoping to wrap it up around 10 o'clock to get people home it is a school night, so we want to make sure to get that done.
Right. How many people are you expecting to be? Would you like to have?
Well, last year, we're hoping for 400 this year. Last year, we had 384 come in, and that generated $35,000 in net revenue for our chapter.
Oh my, that's significant. It really is. All right, 35,000 coming in. And before we talk about where that money goes and what it's used for, what is it that the people attending are going to be involved with?
Well,
besides a meal.
Well, they get a meal from Tori's, and he always does a fantastic job, so we're happy to have him partner with us once again.
Sure.
We're going to have games. It's our 45th anniversary this year, and we're going to shoot for, no pun intended, 45 firearms to give away. Yeah. But we also have duck decoys. We have items for, it's a family event. We have 7 raffles that are set up just for kids.
Sure.
It is a family event, and we have a ladies raffle that we also give away. There's live auction, walk around auctions for items. Again, we've partnered with Chevrolet, and they're going to give away at our state convention 1 Chevrolet truck.
Wow.
In order to be entered into that, you have to win one of the chapter's events.
Okay.
And that's going to be one of our walk-around items. We have 3 items that we traditionally do for a live auction. This year, the one that is kind of near and dear to my heart is the Billy Club. It was initially gotten by the first event and been passed down, and we raffle it or we auction it off. The winner gets their name on a plaque, how much they paid for it, and they get to keep it for the year.
Okay, Stanley Cup.
Correct.
Yeah, traveling trophy.
Yeah, good. All right. So that's all going to happen, and Eric, the results, the money earned is to do what?
The biggest thing I'd like people to know is that the reason we have this as a family event, as our primary fundraiser, if you will, is that all of these dollars, they go directly, Pete, to restoring wetlands. We all benefit from higher quality groundwater. Everybody needs clean water to drink. And you don't find more participation in trying to raise funds for that than you do the people that enjoy those wetlands. Whether they're part of the 60 million people across the U.S. that enjoy bird watching, because those people enjoy that wetlands and quality wetlands just as much as anybody who ever goes out there to hunt. And I think I have the utmost admiration for DU, Ducks Unlimited, with regard to what they do for the youth. Because when the youth come out to this event, not only, yes, they have a number of games that they can win different things and so forth, but they're educated on why this is important, why it is that we're trying to, the Prairie Pothole region, which reaches from northern Iowa through the Dakotas, western Minnesota, all the way up into Canada, and it runs right along the Rocky Mountains, and that's the result of the glacier, over 10,000 years ago, right? But all these little potholes, these little lakes, we live in the land of 10,000 lakes. Well, North Dakota has a number of lakes. Canada is speckled with them, but if we don't maintain the quality of those lakes, it's awful tough for fishermen and for people that want to hunt waterfowl and people who just want to go enjoy a beautiful lake. we have to keep them in good order. And so that's what we're trying to do.
And that would tell me that you need to partner with landowners when this happened. And it seems to me there's a built-in tension then possibly with landowners who, they want to have control of their land, do what they need to do, especially if they're an ag business. How do you work with that?
That's an interesting point that you bring up, and you would think that there would be maybe more tension, but actually the farmers across the upper United States and even throughout the United States are our biggest partners. Wow. They are the ones that enjoy the fact that we will come in there and help them to rebuild and repurpose wetlands that normally a farmer can't make good use of true wetland ground because of the fact that it may produce on a really dry year, but if it's wet, and they can't get anything out of it.
Sure.
So we have partnered with landowners and with farmers across the country, and it's been a beautiful relationship to restore so many different wetlands across the upper Midwest and throughout the United States for that matter.
Right. And I know that significant acres have been saved, if you will, have been improved.
Yes.
Across the country, over the years.
Well, and specifically in Minnesota in 2016, there were 9,341 acres in Minnesota alone that was either wetland or shallow lake project enhancements.
Yeah. So you end up not only, I think the point that we need to really drive home is that this is not about hunting ducks.
No.
Principally.
No. In fact, I don't hunt ducks.
Yeah.
So, and I'm on the committee.
Okay.
I've never hunted a duck in my life.
Yeah.
I have been out and I've fished a lot of wetlands and I've enjoyed a lot of the habitat, but I look at the fact that this is important for the generations that are to come, whether they hunt or not, whether they like watching birds or whether they just like going out canoeing through beautiful wetlands. It has to matter to people, and you'd be surprised by how much is donated by local businesses, to sponsor the event. And we want to thank all of those that have. They've done a great job.
And let's highlight. So you got a couple of things out on the front here. We should really have a picture of that cooler and that bucket. What you're going to explain that bucket, aren't you? Right?
Well, you can explain the bucket.
The bucket is actually a 2-piece planter set. So if you enjoy doing horticulture of any kind, that'd be great for herbs. I wouldn't mind seeing that in my backyard with some basil or perhaps some rosemary in it. So that's what that is. We have a number of non-hunting related items. The only thing that really sometimes is on them is a little duck head, and that's to identify us. Okay. So the print is one that we have that we sell in a year-round event. Jerome Spindler, he goes out to local businesses and he puts up silent bid auctions. And that money goes directly into our account and helps us to generate even more money at our banquets as a result of it.
So just we feature the artists. You have artists who are typically, there are a number of artists, local Minnesotans that are wildlife oriented. And of course we have our own local Jim Killen, who I know has probably produced some special artwork for.
He's a huge participant in our events. Yeah. And we really appreciate it. That Yeti cooler that you see down there, that is there's a few of those that are being given away this year and through raffles and so forth. And anyone can use those. And we like the fact that, Yeti helps us out on a national basis and provides us with a decent price so that we can use that as a fundraising item.
Excellent.
So.
Yeah. Other things that people will experience when they come to the event?
Well, there's the great food from Tori's.
Yeah, right.
Thank you to him. He's done it for the last 3 years now for sure. And the food's always great. There is a bar out there and so forth. And there's plenty of picnic tables. There's so many silent auction items that aren't duck related. Many of them are, there's maybe, I know there's at least 30 different items that are going to be silent auction items. Sure. So I think that they'll find that it's a fun event, and for next year, I guess we're moving to we're moving
to
into
the fairgrounds,
town,
but I'm
to the
not
fairgrounds.
sure where.
We're not sure where, but we will. Just change of pace and time to move on to another locale. So thank you to the board members and the committee members of Ducks Unlimited. Sure. Thanks to especially to all the businesses locally and individuals who have really gone out of their way to help build this organization and turn it into the fundraiser that's effective as it is.
And it's no small feat, I should say, for guys like you who are on the committee, because you got to hustle. I mean, you got things that you got to do to make this happen. You know, so it's kind of intense. Being with us for 10 minutes is easy probably compared to the things that you've got to do.
Well, volunteering is extremely rewarding in and of itself, and you feel like you're a part of something larger. So, especially when it comes to wetlands, everybody needs clean drinking water, whether you're a deer or a human. And this is one way that we can get out from our couch and just go out and do something about a program that we have in the environment.
Oh, that's excellent.
Pete, can I point out the fact that want to direct people to go to the ducks.org, www.ducks.org. They can, tickets are available there. If they click on the Steele County Duck Bash, it's a link right there on their site. And when they scroll down, they're going to be able to see our event on Thursday, October 5th, here in Owatonna, right off of I-35 there in Medford at the Ritchie Brothers Auction House. We encourage people to come on out, bring a spouse, bring your grandchild, or bring your children along, and I think they'll have a great time.
Excellent. Well,
thank you for having us.
Yeah, you're very welcome,
Thank
and
you.
thanks for being here. And thank you for being with us as well. We're going to take some time now for some sponsor messages, and we'll be right back with a wrap-up, so please don't go away.
Cedar Valley Services, located at the corner of Rose and Grove in Owatonna, provides an array of services for people with disabilities in Steele County. CVS thanks the entire community, especially our business customers, for supporting us in Owatonna for 43 years. Thank you from CVS.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. Some announcements now from our community. The next afternoon support group for caregivers assisting people with Alzheimer's or another dementia will be on Tuesday, September 19th from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. The support group is held at the Owatonna Public Library on the third floor small conference room adjacent to the Gainey Room. More information can be gotten by contacting Deb Gillard at 213-1305 or by email at gillard.deb@gmail.com. The Owatonna branch of the American Association of University Women, AAUW, is sponsoring the 8th annual Taste of Steele County on Thursday, September 21st of this year from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Owatonna Eagles Club. 11 area restaurants will be participating in this event, providing a variety of sweet and savory foods for tasting. All proceeds from the event help fund AAUW educational scholarships for local girls and women, and tickets are available from AAUW members at Kotke Jewelers and at the door for $15 for adults and $10 for children age 12 and under. Culture Fest will be on the 23rd of September. It's a day filled with music, demonstrations, food, passport activity stations, and a sporting area. This year, the sporting area is expanded greatly to include hurling from Ireland, curling from Scotland, baseball from Puerto Rico, Shotokan, Japanese-style karate, and I didn't say that right, from Japan, as well as Cub from Sweden. There's something special for everybody at Culture Fest, and that's going to take care of it for today. Come back on Friday when we will have with us, I have it right here, we will have Ellen and Pat Hayden from Habitat for Humanity, and we'll have Judge Karen Duncan and Angela Croning Johnson to talk about promoting peace conference. So please come back on Friday for that. In the meanwhile, be well. We look forward to having you then, and thanks for being with us today.